To the poll question, and I'm totally fine with getting off track. That's what coffee discussions are for, right? Isn't that what happens?
Yeah.
But to the CFL All-Star thing, in the time we have left here in hour one, which is quite a bit of time, and I should mention James Sobalski, Dean Millard, and Austin Davis coming up in hour two. To the CFL All-Star game idea. I've always been all for it. I'm hoping that somewhere along the line, CFL doesn't stand for cash flow low. I think people need to realize that the people that are the forefathers of this league are pretty smart guys. And the reason there's no All-Star game is because what's the trade-off? Is it worth the money to spend on marketing for it? Because that's what it is. It's not going to be a money maker. But the idea that Ty had of taking it out to Vancouver Island where you could play, what's the temperature in Vancouver Island today? Let's just check. Let's say we're going to play it on January 23rd. Gosh, technology is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
It is.
Ask the Astros. It is currently +8 in Victoria. Could we play an All-Star game in +8?
We could do it in January.
Why we got to do the thinking for everybody?
Somebody has to.
Yeah. This is the one thing why I'm referred to as a pain in the butt by these leagues and these teams. We got it, Rod. We don't need your help. So I'm not even really comfortable talking about it.
Because now they're sitting there. Oh, now we got to plan an All-Star game.
Exactly.
Who's going to do that? Who wants that on their plate? No, it's fun. I think it'd be great. It'd be a great excuse, get everybody together. Who doesn't want to go out to the island, in the springtime, if that's when you have it?
Well, it's +8 today.
Or in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, let's do it every year in Victoria because it's a neutral site game. We talked about it a lot on this show. Where did you become a fan of certain leagues? It was going to a game. I watched the Oilers play the Blues in the Regina Agrodome in 1981. Became an Oiler fan. Maybe having an All-Star game and the kids in Victoria get to meet Cody Fajardo or Mike Riley.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're CFL fans. That's what now they're trying to do in Halifax with today's announcement that the biggest ever Touchdown Atlantic is going to be held in Halifax, Nova Scotia, July 25th. Riders and Argos. Why weren't you doing it the last 4 or 5 years? Whatever.
I know.
You got to start somewhere.
Well, and the All-Star game, too, it's interesting because it's not necessarily about having 30,000 people out and filling the stadium either. It's about putting the players in a place where they're having fun, so you have buy-in from them. They get a trip out there, chance to have fun, do all the things that you're going to do, and get together, and the boys all together. That's great. Putting them in an environment. Now they want to showcase the game. Now they want to go out there. They're buying in. Yeah, you get some fans out on the coast, and they're going to tune in. You're going to get fans from these teams are going to fly out, a chance to meet their heroes. But then you get the television coverage, and that's how you really introduce these players to the entire country. Is through all the TV coverage, through all the media, through all the pictures, all the events, all the things that are going to bring exposure. That's where you really capitalize, and I think it could be really awesome.
I love this. I knew that people would gravitate on this. And we got a little off topic with hockey. Probably started with the Arm Dog interview in hour one, which again, is fine. I'm okay with. But in hour two, I think we'll go more deeply on the All-Star game. Metal Shingle Guy writes in on the Prairie Mobile text line. He says, it would definitely need to be indoors to have a chance. It was in Vancouver in the 80s. Needs to be after Grey Cup. All-Stars versus the Grey Cup champs would be interesting. That from Metal Shingle Guy. From an online listener from the 713 says, I'm listening from Houston, supporting my brother Rod. Signed, Kelm. Who dis? Kelm? Did we meet somebody in Houston named Kelm, or is it Karan? Who dis?
It could be Karan.
I think it's one of the guys, not Garrick Jones. It's not the commish. Thanks for listening from Houston. Identify yourself, sir. From Tanner in White City, CFL All-Star Game would have to be after free agency. Too much of a gamble for the free agents if they get hurt. That's from Tanner. So the whole idea is to get people talking about it, get the discussion going. I have a feeling that by noon Central, we'll have this all wrapped up and ready to go and ready to present to the CFL.
Yep.
Here you go. Here's your, it's like a gingerbread kit.
Yeah. Kind of. CFL,
Here's all you need to know.
CFL All-Star Game in a box.
Just go do it.
Yeah. So here's what we need. Here's where it has to be. Here's when it has to be. Your turn.
People bring up some good points here, though, about it's a small league. I mean, you can have the Pro Bowl, which is this weekend, the week before the Super Bowl. You're just not having the All-Stars of the 49ers and the Chiefs. There's enough stars. You couldn't have that All-Star game. Just to say we're going to fit this to the CFL format, you couldn't have it the week before the Grey Cup.
No.
You couldn't do it.
No, can't do it. It's got to be later. It's got to be outdoors. It's got to be outdoors. I mean, it could be inside. I don't really care, but it doesn't have to be inside. Don't worry about the weather. I mean, that's why we're going out to the island. If there's a little rain, that's no big deal. You got to get these guys out in the environment, having some fun. That could be really cool. It doesn't have to be 12. It doesn't have to be a full game. Like you said, you could have a flag football game. That could be pretty fun.
I simply think that if you combine this with Mark's CFL week, because all the CFL stars are there anyways.
Yes.
Because that's where they're doing their photo shoots and all the stuff for the upcoming year. All you need is a flag football game, because we saw it with our own flag all-star celebrity game Labor Day weekend with the Rod Pedersen show. Jason Claremont, Noah Picton, Ray Jacobs. Who were the rider group? Rob Bresciani, Dan Rashovich, Neil Hughes. You could do it. Just a flag game would suffice, because it's about meeting the guys, watching them out on the field. You don't need them banging heads, because they're not going to do that in the Pro Bowl anyways.
Yeah.
So it could be indoors if you wanted to move it to Ottawa and blah, 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 blah. But I like the Vancouver Island thing, because I think the CFL could use some help out there. Joe on Long Island writes in, Joe Lazito. He says, if the players actually try, I'm all for a CFL All-Star game. If it's another sleeping pill like an All-Star games have become, I'll pass. I think if it was a flag game featuring Mike Riley, Cody Fajardo, John Lemon, Derek Dennis.
That'd be fun.
Everybody'd be in.
That'd be fun.
That's all you need. I'm glad that Austin Davis wore a Raptors jersey, because we're going to talk about Canada's team coming back in hour 2. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Facebook Live, and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.